Hi folks, let's continue. Let's finish shaping the front of the model. Let's switch to the front view and compare it with our blueprint. By the way, I can already see that it should be a bit narrower here. If you look at the outer contours, it feels like they could be pushed out slightly using proportional editing. So let's enable it by pressing O button. Let's check. For example, let's enable X-ray mode, press S and scale. Thanks to the proportional fall-off radius, it smoothly adjusts the entire outer contour, making the shape look more natural. So I'm currently using X-ray mode, proportional editing, and the subdivision surface modifier is enabled. Now let's adjust the lower part separately. Press S. Here we go. Next, I'll exit X-ray mode and return to our indicator area. We are going to solve this topology challenge now. For the moment, I'll disable the blueprint. Earlier, we moved this vertex inward and then applied the mirror modifier. Now I want to create this opening. So with the blueprint hidden, select this vertex. Press Ctrl-Shift-B to create a supporting loop in the shape of a square. Turn off proportional editing. Press G and move it over here. We will fit a circle inside this square. It should be roughly square shaped. We can straighten it by pressing S, X0 to align it vertically. Do the same here as X0, then use S, Z0 to align these vertices horizontally, and again Z0 on the other side. Now we will fit the circle inside it. Finally, what if we grab our favorite knife tool and create geometry like this? We will need this vertex. Press Ctrl-Shift-B again. This time we don't want a square. As you move the mouse and scroll the mouse wheel, you increase the number of vertices. In other words, we are beveling the vertex. Now right-click and choose Circle. So finally, we will have this recess for our indicator. Like this. Let me zoom in a bit. I think I'll need to enable the blueprint again so we can align everything relative to it. Let's position it roughly like this. Scale it up a little. There we go. And fine-tune the alignment. Our goal is to keep everything in quads. As you can see though, we currently have n-gons here. In some cases, that's perfectly fine. We will check whether it causes any shading issues, and if it does, we will adjust the position of a few vertices. Okay, let's check. Let's switch back to object mode, turn the blueprint back on, off, and take a look. We have added the geometry, although we haven't created the recess yet. Now press X vertices. Select this edge, press F, I, E to extrude, and then I again. Scale it a bit. Now I'm wondering whether a single supporting loop will be enough. I think it's better to add another one. Press G to slide it into place. Like this. There we go. Let's inspect the geometry and see if we have any shading issues. At first glance, everything looks fine. By the way, I'm using a glossy matte cap, which makes it much easier to spot surface imperfections. It's almost like litmus paper for topology. It highlights every bump and shading artifact. Since there are no visible shading problems, we will keep this topology. The next thing we will do in this video is to add the speaker grill. We will also need BlendKit soon. If you haven't installed it yet, I recommend downloading it. Apparently, they have renamed it to BlendKit, by the way. Download it from their website. For some reason, on my computer, it downloads as a regular folder instead of a zip archive. Let me show you what I mean. So in my downloads folder, it appears as a normal folder, and that will not work for installation because Blender expects a zip file. If yours already downloads as a zip archive, don't do what I'm about to do. I'll simply compress the folder into a zip file, and now I can install it. Mine is already installed, but I will show you the process anyway. Okay, so now I have zip file. I'll open in the preferences. I'm uninstalling it so far and install it again together with you. Just drag and drop the zip archive into Blender, click install, and that's it. Now let's go to the materials section and look for something that resembles this metal mesh. Search for either lattice or metal grid. For example, metallic grid lattice. Also set the license filter to royalty free for now. I think this one, where it is, this one metallic grid, this one looks pretty good. It uses a hexagonal pattern, which is quite similar to what we need. We will use this material later. Before that though, we need to create the grill panel itself. So select the outer edge. This is where we will separate the mesh. Press P, separate by selection. And let's immediately rename the new object to woofer grid to keep things organized a bit. Now let's give it some geometry. Press F, then I as usual to insert. Switch to the front view. It doesn't look perfectly circular, so we will need to correct that. Let's check the geometry of this mesh against the blueprint. I will temporarily disable the subdivision modifier so it's easier to edit. We are in the front view now. Let's fix these circles, starting with this one. With this one, press S, Z to adjust it. SX. Let's work on this one. Check again. At this point, it's actually faster to tweak everything by eye. Another SX. Like this. This area actually looks fine. Let's verify once more. The height is slightly off, but the width matches pretty well. Just a tiny adjustment. As said, move it slightly. There we go. Re-enable subdivision and take another look. Actually, I'll disable it once more because I want to recreate the woofer grid from scratch. I'll delete the current one. Let's see, the grill starts right here, almost touching this section. We will probably use this edge instead. Scale it like this. Scale it like this. Let's check. Separate selection to make the grill again. Let's name it. We are already at the 12-minute mark, so we will stop here for this video. And in the next video, we will continue working on the woofer grid and figure out why it isn't perfectly round. It definitely should be. But so far I want to recalculate the normals here before the end of this video. And actually let's tweak it here. Okay, for now it's done. Let's continue in the next video.